Welcome to It's All Correlated. I'm your host, Jordan Phillip. You're watching episode 5, and my special guest today is Jose Miguel, one of the founders of Option Swings. How you doing, Jose?
Hey, how are you, Jordan? Thank you for the invitation. How's everything?
Great. You're a hard man to find, a hard man to track down, but I finally got you in an interview, so I'm doing pretty good. I was telling my wife, I was like, I have to get this guy on, And then
Yes,
she didn't understand
yes. No,
the gravity
honestly,
of.
I was really busy and everything, but I'm glad that I could finally make it.
Of course, I appreciate you coming on. So to get started, what made you start options trading in general?
Well, honestly, I started as soon as I graduated high school. Like I got into penny stocks and everything. So I've always liked that. So I was trading like my penny stocks. Then I was playing with my IRA money, like the retirement account money and everything. I was the one like managing like my own positions and everything. And then one day I came across options. This was probably back in 2017, I believe. Between 2017 and 2018, I came across options and I didn't know much. And I put $500 into AMD. And the next day I woke up and it was close to $3,000. So I'm like, wow, what happened here? Obviously, when you're trading like even penny stocks, you don't have those 100% returns, overnight or anything. So it caught my attention right away, and I started investing into options ever since then.
And you're saying since high school you had like just regular stocks and a IRA set up, so you were already investing beforehand.
Yes, correctly. I was, but what I didn't like about it is that my role was pretty much passive, when it came to investing. But with options, you are more active on the day to day of things and everything. So there's a thrill to it. And that's what caught my attention. That's what got me started into options.
And for people that don't know, what are options in general and how do options work? Who are the buyers? Who are the sellers?
Okay. Basically, an option is a contract, and it gives you the right to buy or sell a security given certain parameters. Um, the contract, you don't need to exercise the contract. You can basically buy the contract, uh, wait for the contract to appreciate in price, and then sell it, and then have somebody else exercise the contract. So it's basically that. It's basically trading contracts on the future movement of a stock.
I think when I first started options, I didn't know there was like a two-sided party thing. I just thought, oh, I'll just bring it back to my first option I ever did. It was before Option Swing.
Yeah.
It was on Alibaba. And this was when Jack Ma was missing, or he wasn't in the news for a long time. And then
Okay.
they had an earnings report coming out the following week. So I'm going to do a call, just a naked call. And then the next day, Jack Ma reappeared in the news. And that option, like Alibaba stock went up like 20% that day. So like my $200 went to like 1,400. And I was like, oh, wow, I'm so good at options, not knowing what's actually going on the other side. Like I didn't know there was each contract equals $100. I didn't know that I can exercise this and I have the right to buy these stocks. Right, 100 shares, right. I didn't know all of that. So I think it's a pretty complex thing, options. So you think it's something that...
Of course. There's always like a second side to any trade. There's always like another side. And that's what I like about trading, that honestly, it's so hard to trade and everything because you're not trading against any machine or anything. You're trading against the smartest people out there, and you gotta be even smarter than them if you want to take their money away. So yeah, there's two sides of it. There's the people that buy the contracts, then the people that sell the contracts.
Right. I think when you're investing, like you said, you're somewhat passive and you just want the market to go up. But with options, it gives you the option, no pun intended, to want the market to go down sometimes, because in this case scenario, you can be the seller instead. It's kind of funny saying that.
Yes.
Coming from just an investment alone standpoint.
Yes.
What are
Yes.
some of
Yes.
the hurdles you had to overcome when you first started doing options?
Honestly, finding a strategy that works. Obviously, once you get into options, like we say, like you just mentioned, and I mentioned, our first trade, was amazing, but obviously not every trade is gonna be like this, you know. So at first, I didn't know what I was doing. Then I read about swings, then day trading, then scalping, then all of this, and I tried to apply this indicator or this new indicator, or this whatever indicator that came up next. I was always trying to add a new thing to find the formula. So honestly, it was hard. Like finding a strategy is gonna be probably like the hardest thing you can do. Um, I know there's different things that work for different people and everything, but I more or less know what I think in general can make you profitable when you're trading options.
And what do you think that thing is that makes people ultimately profitable?
It is day trading indeed. And the reason why is because, for example, take a look at the market the past 5 days. We open down, we run up, next day we open down. If you're swinging a position, honestly, you're taking a huge risk. Either you're going to be making a lot of money or losing a lot of money. You have no control over what happens when the market closes with options. You can only trade options whenever the market is open, meaning from 9:30 to 4. So the more control you have over your investment, the better. And that control, you're going to get it when you're day trading. That's the only time, because you're going to be able to buy and sell whenever you want. It isn't the same thing whenever you're swinging. It's very different.
I think for me at least, when I first started, the reason why I was more attracted to swing trading, which for people don't know, is holding it for more than a day, is because, for example, Robinhood or TD might have that pattern day trader rule. Is there a way that you think, not over to bypass it, but what do you think people who don't have that 25 grand, like how can they pass that?
Oh, that's one thing. Most people think that you need 25 grand in order to day trade, and you don't. The only thing you need is a cash account. You can go ask your broker, hey, I don't want my margin account. Can you switch it to a cash account? And they'll do it. The only difference, you're going to be able to day trade as much as you want, but the funds are not going to be settled the same day. Let's say you have $1,000 and you spend 500 on Apple today. So you buy it today, you sell it later today. Those 500 are not going to be available to you until the next day. You get me?
That makes
And
sense.
yeah, and you are not going to be flagged as a pattern day trader. So you don't need 25,000. You can start with even $100.
And do you think the best strategy for people with smaller accounts from 100 to 1,000, for example, should it be like naked calls, naked puts, or should it be some type of two-leg strategies? How would you go about starting off a smaller account?
That's one thing. When you have a small account, honestly, the only way to grow it, and I'm going to be blunt honest, is taking a lot of risk. That's the only way. I'm not going to tell you, hey, do spreads, do this, do that. It isn't going to work first. Most people are not going to be able to afford many of these good strategies. Because to have these strategies or to sell calls and stuff, you gotta have the underlying assets and everything. And if you have a small portfolio, you're obviously not gonna have the underlying assets. So yeah, you gotta take a lot of risk whenever you have like a $1,000 account and stuff. And like I said, maybe focus on day trading, not swing trading. Why? Because you're gonna have more control of your money.
And with these risks, I get reminded of like Wall Street bets type of style trading when I'm thinking about options, for example, because back then everyone was doing GameStop or AMC,
Yeah.
no research, no technical analysis, is just feeling. That's pretty much what people were doing at that point. But when you
No,
mean risk,
I
is there a
mean,
way to have calculated?
no, no, no. I mean, it wasn't just that people were just feeling it. There was obviously some big analysis behind it, and even this guy, Michael Burry, you know, this famous guy,
Mhm.
he was into GameStop even before everything started, and it's because they understood, the short flow that everyone was shorting the stock, and they knew the mechanics behind it, and they knew that these stocks could end up squeezing, which ended up happening, Obviously, it created like a lot of FOMO in a sense in the investment community, and obviously a lot of people were just chasing it out of the blue because somebody told them or whatever. But some big players or the players that started everything, like Ryan Cohen, the Petco, the not Petco, this company, I forgot the name, Chewy,
Mhm.
the Chewy founder. So the
Okay.
Chewy founder, he was also one of the ones that started the GameStop squeeze. So obviously some big players knew what they were doing, but some small players, they were just following.
So there's a way to take calculated risk with smaller, no matter the account size.
Oh yeah, for sure. There is. I mean, at the end of the day, you gotta have rules and everything. Uh, if you wanna be consistent, you gotta be consistent with your rules and with the way you trade. If not, you're never gonna find that consistency. And obviously, one of those rules is calculating how much you're gonna be risking on a trade.
Okay. I think the thing that holds me back to this day is learning the Greeks. Um,
Yeah.
you mind speaking about the Greeks and what they mean and their effect on the market or the effect on each contract?
Um, I don't know them by heart, honestly, but the one that you should know about basically is delta and theta. They're gonna be affecting the price and how much you're gonna be making, and the decay, how much the contract is gonna be decaying. Theta is probably the most important one. If you're buying options, you can buy them in the money, at the money, or way out of the money. The far the farther out you go, the less chances you're gonna be making money, but the more money you make if it hits. You get me? So theta on
Right.
those, it's gonna be high, really high. You know, um, but yeah, it's basically the most important one. The one you gotta know about. It's basically theta. Many people, they end up buying contracts that are way out of the money. And they end up wondering, hey,
Mhm.
the stock is going up, but I'm not making money. Yeah, because you have this Greek affecting your contract, which is decaying your contract, and just maybe don't buy that out of the money, maybe go in the money or at the money. Yeah, but that's
That makes
basically the
sense.
only one you have to worry about.
They trade off of Greeks exclusively versus using TA. I'm not sure how that would even work, but is that possible for somebody?
Oh yeah, like I mean, I've seen everything, and honestly, it isn't like a topic that I really like dive into, because I already found what works for me. But yeah, like I mean, I've seen everything. There's people that only trade based of levels, or people that only trade based of dark pool activity. People that so there's everything. People that only trade like regard using EMAs, or using BWAP, or using there's always gonna be like different strategies. People using level 2 activities. Yeah.
And if for people trying to select the right stocks, how do they select the right stocks? Do they need to use dark pool activity or go on option, like unusual option screeners, or how would that
Basically,
work?
the right stocks to be trading options are the popular ones. Why the popular ones? Because those are the ones that are going to provide you the best liquidity. Why do you need liquidity? Because you need to be able to sell, to buy fast, I mean, and to sell fast, and you need to be able to, to have your orders executed right away. You don't want to end up like buying into some stock that nobody else is buying. So you buy the contract, you are up 200%, but there's no buyer for your contract. You get me? So
Right.
basically, like the big names, basically the big names. No penny stocks, no stocks trading under $10. That's a no for me.
And that's because there's no buyers, like no one would buy your contract, for example, because they may deem that contract worthless if nobody wants this particular stock, correct?
Yeah,
Makes sense.
exactly. Or the spread is gonna be too big, you know. So maybe you buy it for 20 cents, let's say, but when you're gonna sell it, the spread is between 20 and 40 cents. Like it's just a mission. Like you cannot market sell the order. You gotta set a limit on it, and then you gotta wait for the buyer to step in. So you can sell it. So it's better just to focus on the big names. The popular ones that everybody's gonna be trading. That as soon as you place your order, it's gonna get executed right away because there's gonna be a buyer or a seller on the other side.
And just to rewind back, I want to talk about fundamentals. 'Cause I know you said that you have your system for TA, but does fundamentals go into that? So, for example, like earnings reports, or do you trade off of earnings reports or FOMC meetings or CPI data? Do you try to, I guess, gamble at it, or you wait until after the fact?
It's better to wait, honestly. The only way you can gamble into options is if you have huge portfolios. There's no way, like, I mean, if you're playing like earnings reports and everything, yeah, it's fun and everything, but at the end of the day, it's a 50-50 bet, it's a gamble. You might as well go to a casino and just play at the roulette or whatever. It's the same thing. You have no control over these events. Nobody knows what's going to happen at these events. So obviously, like I mentioned earlier, you want to have these setups where you have the most control of your trades. If you know that there's going to be a huge event happening at 2 p.m. and you're trading and you have a position open, maybe try to close it before 2 p.m. Because it can go to zero. Maybe you make a lot of money. You don't know. It's going to be a gamble. Just try to have that control over your trade always.
Makes sense. And you started trading options in 2017, correct?
Yes. I
And
think it was
then,
towards the end of
and then
2017.
fast forward, we're like 6 years later, and now you have like probably one of the biggest, or if not the biggest options community. How did you starting option swings come about?
So okay, the story behind option swing. So basically, I started trading, on my own and everything, and I would go to these forums online, and I would talk to people. I would share ideas with people. Um, and then I met this person. This person, he was trading, he was making a killing and everything, and he was sharing like his ideas and everything for free, like on his Instagram and everything. And he had a nice following and everything. And we started like sharing ideas between us two, basically, yeah, basically playing the same plays and everything like that. So one day I told him that I saw a big opportunity, in making a community where everyone could benefit from what we knew, and that's what we ended up doing. We ended up launching option swing at like in the middle of 2019, I believe. We ended up launching option swing, and then obviously like COVID came and everything, and people started working from home or looking for other ways to diversify their investments. So that was like a huge boom.
Right. That's when I discovered option swing was during the lockdown. I mean, I'm military, so I wasn't locked down anywhere, but I think it's just so much people kept going to your page. I think the algorithm just started showing, hey, options. And that's right when you had, GameStop somewhat kicking off. You had Dogecoin, and it said, hey, you can come to option swings and like trade with like actual good technical analysis and good fundamentals in the great community. So I always thought that was like pretty interesting how that set up.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Because I
I
don't think
mean, there were like a handful of communities that started like about the same time, honestly. And COVID, it only propelled this boom.
that makes sense. When you're starting off your day, right? The market opens at 9 or 9:30 Eastern, New York Stock Exchange. What are you doing beforehand to prepare yourself? What charts do you have open? What are the catalysts you're looking for that day? What goals do you set, and so on?
So before you start your day, before looking at any TA or anything, you need to be looking at news. News are gonna make or break any TA you have. You can have the most beautiful patterns on it or anything, but if news hit, it's gonna destroy your TA and your hard work. So obviously, the first thing you should be doing every morning is just reading up the news, knowing what's happening there. If you wanna buy, if you have plans of buying like Boeing, maybe read into Boeing. Maybe they have some news on the day. Um, See what events are gonna be throughout the day. What to expect that day. What do we have the next day? News are extremely important in my opinion. I don't I don't like to trade based off of news. But I am on top of news. That's the first thing that I do before I start like my day. Obviously, like once like at 9, maybe like 30 minutes before open, that's when I open my charts. That's when you more or less like have some good levels to look at, like some good pre-market levels to look at, and that's when you place your levels and everything. And you do the TA part. But honestly, I try to start like every day with a fresh mind, as if it's my first day in trading. It's the best way to take it, because if you don't do it like that, you're always gonna have this bias. You're always gonna be like, no, I think this is gonna happen. So you're always like predisposition in a sense. You get me?
That makes sense, sir. When I look at options, I find it as the most, I guess, complex type of trading versus just forex or just regular stock trading. And for people looking at it, they're hearing about Greeks or contracts. They might be a little bit off-putting. So, do you think it's better for someone to start trading in a community like option swing, or do you think it's more beneficial, or it's possible to learn it by yourself?
Obviously, nowadays you can learn everything by yourself. Even if you wanna make anything, you can find it online, obviously. And obviously you can find free content on trading and everything, and the same things that we do on everything online for free. Like you don't have to pay for it. But why do you pay, honestly? Because trading can be lonely at the end of the day, and at the end of the day, it's good to have like a community or other like-minded people to bounce ideas with. You know, that's what matters. It isn't about the content. We obviously do. We have a free course on options for anyone that wants to join. If you go to our website, we have a free course. You can take the course and everything. Like the content is there for free, but it's more about the community. It's more about sharing ideas with the people that do the same things that you do. it's basically about that. It's the
And
community.
I find the community aspect comforting, and also I guess inspiring because you guys post a lot of your members like best trades, for example. It's like, oh, this guy made $10,000 today, or some people just post testimonials about like how their whole life has changed. And I think when you're starting golf, you might not see like that light in the tunnel. Is like, I don't understand this stuff, but then you're seeing other members saying, hey, if you stick it through, this is what
Yeah.
can become of your life as well. So that's amazing. I think the App
Like,
Sync does that.
like I mentioned earlier, at the end of the day, trading is gonna be hard because you are competing against the smartest people out there. You know, you are not competing against the average Joe. No, you're competing with people that not only have high education and everything, but in many cases they even have insider information. So you are competing with the best of the best out there. You know, so yeah, trading is not for everyone, and it does take time to learn. Indeed.
And for you, in 2017 when you started, how long did it take for trading to become your day job?
It was probably close to maybe like a year and a half to 2 years. Yeah, it took a while indeed. I remember it was more than a year indeed.
And that's
But
what
the
you
good
trading.
thing, yeah, but the good thing is that many people blow up portfolios and everything because they get greedy. They go in big, knowing what they're doing and everything. But I didn't start like that. When I did start, I was going small into my positions and everything, so I never blew up my portfolio. Which was a good thing, honestly. Um, I didn't even start with paper trading. That's what I recommend people to do, at least for 3 months or something. Just so they get the hang of it. But obviously, most people don't do it because it's not real money, so it doesn't matter. They want the real money. But I didn't do it. I regret not doing it, honestly. But but if you're new, just know it's gonna take time. It's gonna take you at least a year. I'm gonna be honest with you, at least a year of daily trading on a daily. Being active on a daily and everything. Uh, it's gonna take time.
Okay. And two more questions. It's kind of like a speed round. What is your worst trade or worst loss that you can remember?
Um, it was. I remember I was playing basically like an event or something. It had something to do with China and with Trump and everything. And I remember that there was like a pre-market press conference. So I had these positions in Baba puts, Apple puts, Microsoft puts, and I was doing amazing. Like all the positions ended up closing the day like over 100%. I thought they were gonna continue like dipping and everything. Obviously, I ended up swinging the position. Big mistake. I didn't cut anything at all. I didn't take profit or anything at all. I thought obviously Trump was going to be bearish on China and everything. And the market ended up bouncing when it opened. It was a disaster. It was a disaster for me. But it was a big lesson at the end of the day. I made two mistakes. One, you know, not trimming and sizing accordingly. Not trimming my positions and sizing accordingly because I was already like green. And two, I was betting like on an event, but I was playing like if I had control of the event, when in reality and clearly I didn't.
It's a big lesson. No one ever went broke taking profits. That's something I'm still trying to learn now because I'm always like, oh, it can go higher, it can go higher. I need to learn that there's
Yeah.
always a trade the next day. Like I can just like once I learn that,
Yes.
I'll be okay. And then what
Yeah.
about your
There's
biggest
always a
gain?
trade. My biggest gain, it was about $14,000 on PayPal. So this play was rather smart. I was gonna day trade PayPal, on the day that it reported earnings. So I bought the position, in the morning, and it just kept on going up and up. The whole day it was just going up. By the end of the day, I was up over 100%. So I made my position free. I made it free, and then I rode. I think it was like $3,000 or something. And when I woke up the next day, it was like a 500% return or something like that. I made like 14K or something. It was 14K the next day. But it, I did make a gamble, honestly, but it was a smart gamble because I was already riding that contract for free. You get me?
Right. And then after that, did you like pop champagne? Did you call your family like, hey, like take
No,
your mom out to dinner?
nothing. Honestly, no, nothing like that. One thing I've learned is I try, like in happy situations, I try not to be that happy about it, and the same thing like in sad situations. I try not to get too sad about them. Just be more like neutral in a sense.
Right. Better than me. I think I would have probably like took out the 14K from my account. I would have blown it the same day I got it on something else. So you're better than me. But Jose, it's been great having you. Is there anywhere that you want to tell the audience where they can find you, where they can find option swings, or anything else in general?
Yes. Like I mentioned earlier, go to our website. It's OptionSwing. It's optionswing.com. Just go to a website. You don't have to pay for anything or anything at all. Just go. We have a free course. It's gonna take you like a week to finish. We have like over 4 hours of videos. We have quizzes, tests. We have different things. Just take a look at it, and I know you like the content.
Yes, sir. And you're on all platforms, correct? You're on Twitter, Instagram.
Yes, OptionSwing on all of them. Yeah.
Okay, it's been great having
At
you.
OptionSwing.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, Jordan. You have an amazing day.